is Genevieve Bohach, and I am a school psychologist and research specialist with the Supporting Transformative Autism Initiative at the University of Virginia. I'm here today with Brendan Oakes, and we're going to be talking about relationships. Hi, Brendan. Thanks for being here with me today. How are you doing?
Good, you?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking. So, I'd like to start this conversation with a little bit of your background with autism. Could you tell us about that, please?
Yes. I got diagnosed at 14, so I've been about over 15 years. Yeah, 13 years of my life knowing I have autism. But I knew that I had something that was different about me throughout my life, but didn't have a name to it till I was 14. So I've had that, and that and I've just had it throughout my life. So that's a little bit about me with autism. Yeah.
Great, thanks so much. So all of your experiences are going to be really, really helpful with for our families that are going to watch this. So really thank you again for sharing that. So one of the first things I'd like to talk about is what you believe are the most important qualities that you look for in a friend.
Just someone who's nice, kind, like I said, have the same interests as me, and somebody who would help me when I need help, someone who would be there like when I need them, and then someone who's a nice, genuine person who won't put me down and likes the same stuff that I like. Yeah, we can do stuff together.
Right. That makes sense. That would be good qualities for all of us to look for in friends, right? Did you find it was easy or hard making friends when you were in high school?
Harder. I went to I went to public school and private school, so I have both of that. Private, both of them were hard because it was mostly just people at in start of high school, like people trying to figure out who's better than everyone else. So that was sort of harder, and then people not knowing what autism is or not being as mature as people who are outside in high school. So they're like don't and not knowing that they make fun of people with different acting a little different than everyone else. So it was harder. Mhm.
Do you think there was anything that anybody else could have done to make it easier for you to make friends?
Um, it would in high school. It probably would have been more kind and aware of other people have different ways they act, different way, and may have some difficulties in some ways here and there. And then another thing in high school, having more like clubs because there wasn't many after school activity that would at least put people with autism together because that's where I made most of my friends in college was knowing other people who had autism. But having more people with that in a club or group activity that you can hang out, people who know what you're dealing with and stuff, and just more after activity that wasn't like sports and stuff because there wasn't really anything like that.
Yeah, and so you brought up college, and I think our viewers would really like to know more about your unique experience you had in college. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I went to Marshall University, which was in West Virginia. But they have this program called Autism, the Autism program. Yeah, that's what it's called. And it helps people with autism and brings people to with grad pairs people with graduate students that help you navigate college life and navigate the professors. If you need help with talking to the professor, anything you don't understand what the professor said, the graduate assistant or their assistant, which is also your assistant. So you have like two assistants will help you out. And it brought people together like every Friday. You didn't have to do this, but every Friday we would have like an activity we would do as a program. Maybe go out to eat, maybe go to a movie, or maybe have like a game night. And so you would be with people who have the same disability as you, so you sort of know where you both are coming from, and you have that. So that's where I made started making a ton of my friends. I made some outside of, but it was more like just having people there that have the same disabilities, that knows the struggle, that's not going to make fun of you or anything. Yep.
Yeah. I think your college experience is really, really a great experience. And I don't think a lot of people know about that. So all of those experiences that they set up for you, did that make it easier for you to find like meaningful relationships and friendships?
Yes. Like I said, going to the 5-day group, that's where met met a group of people who knew some people outside, already knew people outside of the program. So at the beginning of each semester, we will all meet our graduate assistant together. So we all be in a room, knowing each other in a room together. So we would meet each other, know someone that we already know in groups, and if they have like the same classes for us, they would say, hey, you two have the same classes together, so you two may want to just get to know each other well, even though we may not become friends, but it was just at least a starting point to
That's great. Yeah, everybody needs one of those when meeting new people. It's always helpful. Yeah. So if your friends didn't immediately know that you had autism, how would you initiate that conversation about your diagnosis?
It was mostly based on it was, circumstance. Like some people I never told because they didn't really need to know. But for the most part, if I was having like a bad day or something, and I needed to, like, some days I would have a bad day that wouldn't want to hang out with anyone with them. That's about when I would tell them, because I was like, they didn't want to say I'm not going to be with hang out, because and not give them a reason for it. So I usually just give them, but with everyone knowing, most people already have an autism, they sort of already knew because they knew what that program I was in, so that was a lot easier to tell people. But for people who wasn't in the program, it came up in usually would come up in a conversation here and there, and then I would just if it autism came up somehow in a conversation, I would just say I had it too, and they were mostly nice. Or there's like one or two people that wasn't, but they mostly left the group afterwards.
Well, I'm glad that most people were really positive when you told them and that you didn't have to tell some other people. That's great.
Yeah.
So moving past college, what have you felt has been challenging about making friends as an adult?
Mostly not having that day-to-day interactions. Like at college, we saw them like we saw them like every day. So not seeing that same person every day, that's how I made friends. Like I just saw them every day, like in class. So we then became friends because we talked in class. Um, so that's one. Another thing is in college, there's more like easy access to the clubs and stuff in college. So like gaming club, that's where I met another group, couple of friends of mine, and and here it's harder to find those groups of people. So especially because of the pandemic, nobody really doing anything.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's making it a lot harder. But just going out, doing that. And it was like I'm not forced to interact with people as much outside of college, so I have to force myself to go look for people instead of college sort of making that choice for me.
Right. Right. That makes sense. So, what do you think if the pandemic weren't around right now? What do you think would make it easier for you to make friends as an adult?
Having having more like activities, like going to like groups that meet to play like board games, to play like card games every once a week or however times a week or month, and then meeting people through that, or going to like movie clubs so people go watch movies, and go meet people through there. That would help me a lot.
Those are great ideas. And I think those would be easy to do in the area.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll take that under consideration and see what we can do. So switching back to the pandemic that everyone is living through right now, how have you kept your friendships and connections going through this time?
Um, I've been keeping up with like group chats. I'm in a ton of group chats with my friends, and most of my college friends are not even in my state. So even without the pandemic, I wouldn't be able to talk to them without group chats. So we've been doing that, and then playing online games, like doing stuff online, like watching movies together online, and just having online hangouts. And we just go to a video chat like Zoom or like whatever, and then we just hang out through there and talk.
That's great. I'm thrilled that you've been keeping up your relationships. I found it really hard during the pandemic to keep up with the relationships that I've built over the years. So I'm going to take lessons from you. Maybe I'll start doing video gaming online.
Yeah.
So how do you think that your friendships have changed your life?
It made me more of a social person because once I went to college, I made more friends and got out more, and
Mhm.
instead of just staying in my room in high school like I did in high school, for the most part, and not going out and learning new stuff and becoming um, more what do you call more proud with myself or more seeing I'm more capable than I thought I was. It's like,
That's great. That's great. Okay, you ready for the one last question we have?
yep.
You've been awesome. I really appreciate me throwing all these questions at you and you answering them. Okay, so we had some parents that their children struggle making friends, but they want to make friends, they just don't know how. What do you think are some steps that they could take to help their kids branch
Um,
out?
Going to clubs or activities that other people share the same interests with you is a big one because then you have some activities to do and to talk about there, and then just going slow because even in college and now just taking one step at a time and just knowing you may fail making friends and just um, trying to find good activities that you can do with other people that you at least have a starting point of something of a conversation to start from because you're doing that activities, and then just getting to know that person day to day from meeting to meeting or day to day when how many times you see them, and then just going slow from there, and then getting a better friendship.
Those are great points. I really appreciate that. So anything else you want to talk to our viewers about relationships and making friendships?
Nope, not that I can think of.
No?
Yeah,
All right. Thanks so
but,
much, Brendan. It's been so great getting to catch up with you
yeah.
today, and I cannot thank you enough for answering all those questions and sharing your perspective on relationships. If anyone has any questions about this presentation, feel free to email us at star-autism@virginia.edu. And thank you for joining us. Have a great day. And Brendan, you have a great day too.
Yeah.
Bye.